Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. My name is Loretta, and welcome to my page. Let's talk with the Precious. So today I'm going to be doing a reading on the infamous Jarvis Butts and his wives, girlfriends, kids, and how they all tied into this Naiah Harris case. This thing is so juicy. It's sad, but it's very juicy because there is a little girl involved. There is a lot of crimes involved, and there's just a lot of like neglect and abuse and just a whole bunch of stuff involved. But the mystery is, these women, these girlfriends, and these kids that are associated with Mr. Jarvis Butts. And I'm going to get down to the bottom of it today with a tarot card reading. So let's go ahead and get started. Ancestors of Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, please give us an accurate reading on his love life. Because the way that the story goes is that Jarvis Butts had his first child at 13. And it's already been known that he had his first child at 13 by a grown woman. Now, on TikTok, there was a man who was the son of this woman that Jarvis Butts had a baby with at 13. And he indicated that his mom was a grown woman when Jarvis was 13. She prayed on him, went down on him, and had a baby with him. And when she had the baby by Jarvis Butts and it was found out who he was and how old he was, all of her children got taken away, including the son that was on TikTok telling the story. So we pretty much already know about the first woman that he had a baby with at 13. So she was grown, she had kids of her own, and when it was indicated that she had a baby with a teenager, her kids got taken away, and that was that. And that is the child that is about 28, 29, 30. So, but let's look into these other kids because a couple of years after that, when he started hitting his like early 20s, because that picture that everybody keeps seeing of him, where he has like the two pigtails and stuff, that picture is like 12, 11 years old. So that's not a recent picture. And I think that picture was when he got caught with pew pew charges. And so he ended up getting charged and ended up getting arrested for that. But the incident that I want to touch on is where he was arrested and he was brought in about I'm trying to find a safe way to say this, where he violated a child and ended up giving this child an STD. So now I'm going to read on the relationships that he's had with women and kids after the first child that he had at 13. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, please give us an accurate reading on his love life. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, after he had his first child at 13, what other women was he acquainted with and who was he acquainted with? And how many kids did he have in between the time he was arrested in 2004 for the offense that he committed against a child who was, I believe, less than 10 years old that he gave an STD to? Please give us an accurate reading on this. So, when it comes to Mr. Jarvis Butts, in between the time when he had his first child and when he got caught back in 2004 for violating a child, he was seeing women from like coast to coast to coast. He had a very hard, treacherous life. He mainly dealt with a lot of poverty and him pretty much being poor and not having any money. Because I'm seeing here, but he had a lot of like bad luck. He had a lot of struggles in between the time of him having his first child and in between the time of him committing these offenses against younger women or like younger girls. And the incident that he had with the younger girl who he ended up giving, I believe, chlamydia to. But his ancestors are saying that his life was very hard from the time he was 13 up until he got caught committing that offense that he first got arrested for. I'm picking up long, treacherous road. He had a difficult time maneuvering in life. He had a difficult time, managing certain things. And I'm picking up cognitive skills. So there's something like mentally challenging going on with him. because I am picking up cognitive skills being impaired and things just not being there mentally in between the time he was 13 up until the time he got caught with this younger girl and he ended up giving her chlamydia. I am seeing where he just had a lot of bad luck as far as income and money and working, and then he had a lot of hard times like understanding things and trying to put things in the right order, trying to put things together, and just really understanding how like life really works. Because I'm picking up that he was like a street hustler. He's someone that just pretty much learned from the streets. He learned from like books and he learned from like different people and he just learned like along the way. He picked up a lot of stuff from like hood dudes. So it's like the streets and the hood would taught him everything that he knows. So it's like from the time he was a teen up until he was like a grown man, he just pretty much learned things from like the streets and learned things from people in his neighborhood and men that he was just kind of like surrounded by and being pretty much men that he was surrounded by and men that he grew up with. So this is how he learned, how to do different things. Now the tricks of the trade when it comes to like him violating children, I'm picking up is so with him violating children, this is pretty much coming from this is like I'm picking up like the ways of the world or like the way that things were done and that this was just something different because I'm picking up like all of this stuff that comes from like it it mainly has to do with his childhood. So when it comes to him violating the children and when it comes to him violating women and girls, I mean, he did play a lot of women. He's been a player since he was like a teenager. And him being with the grown woman and messing with grown women was seen as like a badge of honor because this is something like you just do. It's kind of like hood culture, hood behavior, the many women that you could squeeze, the many women you could sleep with, it kind of what makes you a man. So that's pretty much what that was. But as far as like getting women pregnant, that was just not something that was in the mix for him, but he did it anyway, and he just didn't care. Because I'm picking up where he was very like scatterbrained and scattermind, and he was just all over the place because this was his adolescence. His adolescence was pretty much preyed on, and he was pretty much just taught stuff by a lot of adults and he was pretty much taught things that just wasn't what an adult should really be teaching a child. So he was introduced to a lot of inappropriate behavior as a kid and as a teenager. Another thing that I'm picking up is with his income. He was a hustler because of his social skills and his social ability in his community. So he does have a gift for gab and he has a way with his words and he has a way of getting things that he wants. He knows how to entice people. He knows how to play people. He knows how to get things to come to him easily, which is what you see with this Knight of Coins. So he knows how to bargain with people. So that's pretty much how he was able to like make ends meet as far as like income and things like that. Now, I will say during this reading, his ancestors are very protective of his energy right now. So some things will be revealed during this reading and some things won't because his ancestors really want his spirit to be protected at this time because I'm feeling it like around my mouth where they're trying to clench me shut. So whatever comes out, that's what's going to come out. But if it doesn't, then that's because they don't want it to. Okay, so let's get into like his relationships with women. I know everybody's been talking about, oh, he has a type and oh, he preys on, women who are desperate, women with kids and dark skinned women or women that's dark skinned and big or whatever. But let's see. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, what type of women is he really attracted to? Or what type of women was he really attracted to in the beginning of all these offenses that occurred? He was more so attracted to skinny women, but it seems as though skinny women just weren't really all that attracted to him. So when he moved along to like bigger women or larger women, he sought more comfort in them. He was seeking more love and attention, and they just gave him more shine. Because I actually did a reading on the Naiah Harris case and everything that's involved with the case and with the actual offense that he committed against her on my Facebook business page where I do readings and things like that. And you all can click the link that I'm going to put in the bio once I'm done with this video and see what else was found out in that reading. But it does seem as though that he was attracted to skinnier women, but he was never really able to like get any luck with skinny women that much. So when he moved on to like bigger women, that's when he started winning. That's when he started gaining more comfort, getting more attention, getting more love, getting busy, getting, sex and whatever the case may be, money, shelter, food, clothes, whatever he could get it from them. So he just pretty much found comfort in women who really weren't originally his type. So let's look into like his dating history as far as like girlfriends and whatnot. What was his dating history like in the beginning of his offenses when it came to him being offensive towards children? I'm picking up where it was just comical. Like in the beginning of like his offenses towards kids, it was comical. It was not serious. He was living from post to post, jumping around from like female to female, and just more so trying to find his way because I keep getting this world card in reverse. So he just didn't really have too much luck in love and too much luck in finding the one or really like laying his hat down on anybody, concrete or anybody too serious or really solidifying, his name or solidifying his legacy with anybody. So he just wasn't fortunate as much in the beginning. But let's see. One thing I do want to touch on is the offenses. So, ancestors of Jarvis Butts, why is he attracted to children? What is making him so attracted to kids, and where did that start and where did that come from? I keep getting this world card in reverse. It's like he is coming from childhood trauma, is what I'm picking up from him not being raised properly, from him not being guided properly, and from him just learning from different people and different women and men on the streets. But I'm seeing where it's a deviance of his. It's a deviance of his because it's one of those things where he battles with that type of demon, where it's really like a demon within him that he's just picked up from somewhere, and he just has to feed that demon, or has to feed that deviance, is what I'm picking up. So this is more so of like a spiritual thing than more so of a more so of a talk thing. This is like a struggle that he deals with, but this is more so of like a sin that he enjoys. He enjoys like the beauty of it, the bewilderment of it, the fantasy of it, the innocence of it. He just enjoys a lot of the deviances and a lot of the mystery and a lot of the seductiveness, the secretness, the manipulative behavior and whatnot that comes with messing with kids. So it's one of those things where it's like a deviance or like a demon that he just struggles to fight with. And I'm going to look into this whole thing about him targeting women with children. I want to look into this. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, when it comes to Jarvis Butts, did he intentionally target women with kids, or did he intentionally target women with children as a way to mess with him, or was it something else? He really didn't choose women with kids, is what they're saying. These are women that pretty much more so came into him because in the community, a lot of women have kids. So this is something that just kind of came with the relationship or kind of came with the situations that he was into, but he just really didn't like target women with kids because I'm seeing where these women were established. They kind of had money of their own, a place of their own. They pretty much just had it all before he came along, and they just kind of like took him in. I hate to say it, like a stray dog. And so, with him being able to come in with these women like this, he was able to be comfortable. He was able to contemplate things, and he was able to just get himself together no matter where he was. And his looks played a big part in it, because ancestors just said like his looks got him into a lot of different things in a lot of different places with a lot of different women. So that's what comes into this. But let's deal with this whole Shannon and the fiance and the wife, because there was a clip that came out today of Jarvis Butts being in a voice chat conversation with the fiance. It sounded like this was the fiance that took the stand, that said where he would only like come to her house a few times a week and would only stay until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and then would leave, and they were pretty much arguing about her hearing from his family members that he had another baby with another woman. And, like, people keep asking me, why do I still keep messing with you? And then Jarvis was saying, like, well, you're stupid and you're, R word. And that's because you're a newcomer. Most people that know me know what me and Shannon got going on. So you don't have to worry about that. And I'm not finna sit up here and claim 2 kids that I know are not mine, and it was just a lot. But I'm gonna look into this whole thing with this fiance. And then there was a second clip that came out where he was on the phone with, and he was on a jail phone call because the timer lady had came on the phone. And they were talking about him getting money, getting put on his books, and where was King and what had King been doing, and this whole thing about getting his phone that was in the backseat of a car. But then at the end of the call, he said something about a wife, how he could get his wife to come up there and give him something or whatever. I couldn't quite understand what he was saying in the call. But another thing that I noticed was that Shannon had got on the phone with a radio podcaster or interview or whatever, and they were grilling her with questions. They was asking her about Jarvis, like, did you know this? Did you know that? And she was saying like no, and then they said, well, did you know that he had got married? And she was like, he ain't never married nobody. He's not married or what? So I'm gonna look into his relationship with Shannon because it's kind of looking a little shady. It's kind of looking a little confusing, but let's get into it. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, when it comes to his relationship with Shannon, what kind of relationship did they have or do they have right now? In the beginning, they had love, and in the beginning, there was a potential for them to get married. So they did kind of hang out. They did kind of meet together. They did have some form of a loving, like close knit type bond relationship. But then it's like as time went on, things got boring, and he just kind of got tired of her nagging him and wanting him to be there all the time and wanting him to do this. And it just kind of became really boring where he felt like his cup just wasn't being felt. She wasn't too nice to him at times, and she was just being like really a B word. She was just really being a B word and whatnot. And it's like the relationship was really weak, and it's like it just really wasn't standing on anything. There was like a mutual respect from time to time, especially when it came to like the children. But other than that, it just seems as though there wasn't really too much of a agreement or them being on one accord. So let's see where the kids came in at. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, when it comes to the kids that he had with Shannon, how did these children come about? What type of relationship was the relationship when Shannon and Jarvis Butts was together when she started having children with him? So he did want some of the kids with Shannon. I do see where he did want some of the children with Shannon, but some of them she just wanted with him due to him like being mixed and due to him being like, foreign, having this exotic look and whatnot. So she kind of wanted her kids to be that way. She wanted them to look that way. But when they did start having kids, I want to say the first three kids that they had out of the five that she did have, he wanted those with her because he did see where she would be a good mother to his kids, where she would be a good mother figure or support system and whatnot to his kids. So that's why he did want kids with her. But as far as like the last two, he just wasn't like too keen on being a daddy anymore to those latter half kids because the relationship was just fizzling out. And it was too uncomfortable. It was just too deep. It was just too over the top. And he just could not deal with it anymore. He is just not pleased here with her, is what I'm saying. It's like she doesn't make him feel good. She doesn't give him any comfort, any like emotional intelligence, is what I'm saying. And he sees it as like a bad joke, but sometimes like he sees it as like a bad mistake or like some type of he sees it like a bad joke or some type of bad mistake, or this is just some type of thing that just shouldn't be going on, or something he just shouldn't be dealing with, is what I'm saying. But yeah, he did want the first three kids with her, but it's like with the latter half, he just wasn't too keen on them, and she more so wanted the last two kids for herself so she could have a complete family. And so let's look into this whole fiance thing. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, when it comes to the fiance who took the stand, that was like dark skin, she had short dreads, and she had like the black and multi pattern dress and whatnot. Let's look into her. What type of relationship did they have, and what do you see her as, and what kind of future do you see for her? He was just really playing with her because it's saying that this relationship was just very erotic. So it's saying that there was more passion there than there was more love. And this was just almost like a quickie relationship to him, somewhat of like a, hey, I could kiss you up, rub you down, do what I want to do, and then I could just check out of here. But I want to call you my fiance to make you feel special, to make you feel more intimate. And he does see her as stupid. So when y'all heard him talking on the phone in that clip, saying that, I ain't even gonna talk to you about this because you lying on my people, and I ain't gonna talk to you about no kids that I know don't belong to me. And yeah, it's like he talks to her as if she's really stupid and really dumb. And I'm like, I don't care how fine the man is, like you ain't gonna be talking to me in the kind of way because he was talking to her wow in the voice messages. But what's going on here is that he did see her as stupid, and he did see her as, dumb, that, oh, I could just get over on her. She gonna listen and do whatever I say. She's gonna fall into this and fall into that. She think we in love, but we're really not. And she's just more so of like a scapegoat, somebody I could go to when things are not feeling right and when things are in trouble. And lo and behold, that's why she's on the stand, because she was the scapegoat out of all this stuff going on. So she kind of took the fall for it, took the bait. Because it's saying that there was just no type of concreteness about this relationship. It's not solid, and no type of love, happiness, or anything. And this relationship, it was fleeting. It's like it wasn't long lasting or, withstanding and whatnot. But let's look into this whole thing about this wife and if he really is married. Okay. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, when it comes to him and this wife, is he really married as far as like legally married? Or this is just a made up marriage? And if he is married, who is she? I'm picking up, yes, he is legally married. He's legally married, and he's loud and proud and open about it, which is why you hear so much stuff about it, because I am seeing where he's very loud and proud about him being married. He's not too shy about it. He confronts it whenever it's presented to him. So he's not beating around the bush or shying away from it. And he's open to the mistakes that he's made as like a father figure, as like a boyfriend or fiance or whatever the case may be. He knows what he's doing. He knows the type of person that he is. Because when I heard his voice, I was shocked. He talked like that. You know how you see people and you wouldn't think that they would talk the way that they do for how they look, and he sounds like Busy Bone to me, like Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. If you hear Busy Bone's voice and listen to his, it sounds about like the same. But he has a pimp voice where he, like he kind of know how to hold his own when it comes to getting women in line and getting them in check. So he has like that pimp like type of demeanor and talk about himself, which is why he has a way with women. But yes, he is legally married. But who is this woman? This woman is like the complete opposite of what he's used to. She's kind of sophisticated. She's more so open and seductive to who she is. It's almost like she's a stranger to the streets and a stranger like on the outside looking in to all this stuff that he's dealing with and going through. Because I'm seeing where she's far away. Like she don't even live in the city of Detroit or live near the city of Detroit. She's somebody that's just like far away, somebody who's just different, and somebody who just like came out of nowhere is what I'm saying. So yeah, this woman is very different than what he's used to, and that's pretty much why he liked her and why she became attracted to him. But let's see if she knew about his past. Ancestors of Jarvis Butts, when it comes to this wife, what does she know about his past as far as him violating children? I'm picking up she knows. She knows about his past and whatnot, but she just doesn't really care too much for it. And she's someone who's kind of like taking the reins of the relationship. She's trying to guard it, but at the same time, she's like very, forthcoming with it, and she's very established because I keep getting this Queen of Coins. It's like he's attracted to women, and people keep saying he's only attracted to women with kids, but he seems to be attracted to women who are more so established than he is. They got their own car, they got their own house, job, they got their own money, kids or whatever. They seem somewhat of an established person, someone who's ready for love or ready for a relationship, and someone who got it. Because this card keeps coming out. So yeah, he definitely has a type. And it's not because of looks, but it's more so like money and establishment. But let's look into what's going on with Naiah as far as like what was known and what was, perceived or really what's the truth. So ancestors of Jarvis Butts, when it comes to Naiah Harris and Shannon and the grandmother, knowing about the relationship between him and her, was it really true? Did they really know about Naiah and Jarvis Butts' relationship? I'm picking up, yes, they did know. They knew everything. And they even talked about it too. They knew exactly what was going on between Jarvis and Naiah. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They knew it. And they even talked about it and discussed it amongst themselves as if it was nothing. And I'm picking up that they did see her as fast, especially Shannon, the grandmother who tried to talk, tried to talk. I'm picking up, try to talk you out of it or whatever case may be. I'm picking up, so she did try to talk to Naiah about this and her being with different men or being with men in general. So she knew, but she just kind of backed away from it. But I'm picking up where Shannon was the main one talking about her, bullying her, putting her down, and causing her stress and things like that because she was messing with Jarvis. So she knew all about it. So she's not innocent. And I'm picking up that she even bullied Desire because she knew, oh, who you think you is coming in here trying to take my man, trying to be with my man, trying to be promiscuous, trying to do X, Y, Z. And they did see her as fast. They saw her as someone who was very fast, fast in the pants or fast in the butt, and she just getting what she deserved, being with him or whatever. She don't know, she don't see, she don't learn. And so it's like they knew about everything that was going on between her and Jarvis, but they wanted Desire to see for herself, is what I'm picking up. And now, everybody's playing innocent and we didn't know, we don't know nothing, blah, blah, blah. They do. They do. They know everything. But let's also see something about the relationship he has with his kids and with their mothers. So answers to Jarvis Butts. What is the relationship like with his kids and the other women that he's with? Like, what's going on with them? He's tried to get in contact with a few of them, but with little to no luck. But I'm also picking up that he's a deadbeat too, to an extent. He's very forthcoming and very forthright with some of his kids, and he's trying to like categorize them and trying to understand what's going on and what's different. And so he is or was trying to manifest a new life or a different life for his kids where he could be more into them and whatnot. But I'm picking up he's just a little too promiscuous. So he was more so focused on like smashing and banging women more than anything instead of being worried about kids. He just sees kids as like things that just come along with life and not so much as like a necessity because I'm picking up a lot of strong cards here where he is, with women who know how to hold their own, they know how to disguise themselves well. They have good guidance as far as like spiritual guidance, divination guidance, and women who just really know how to manipulate, how to abuse these certain types of situations because they all knew he was a bad dude. They all knew he shouldn't have been with them or been around them, but they chose to stay and put up with it because of his looks. So pretty privilege really did help him out a lot. So that's pretty much all I have for this reading. Don't forget to like, love, and leave positive comments in the comment section, and have a good day.